difficulties. We'll see if this works. Muscles feed. We're experiencing technical difficulties in the chat. Let us know if you can hear me and hear Muscles and see him. Muscles, what's up?
Oh man, ain't much. Looks like we got one person in right now.
It'll heat up. Just
It'll heat up in a minute. Yeah. But yeah, man. No, everything's good, bro. Everything's good, man. Heck of a month so far, bro, man.
Yeah.
3 weeks in a row, just been hitting, bro. I had that big month. I'm not big month. That big week where I hit that 13,000, man, on that 6 leg parlay. That's what really got me going this month. And then I hit the next 2 weekends on knockdown props. I've been going crazy with the knockdown props. 10 for 11 right now.
10 for 11 on the knockdown props.
On the under 1.5 knockdown.
And is that always your sweet spot? Will you only are you married to the idea of the 1.5, or will you do 0.5?
It depends on the fighter and the fight. So my sweet spot right now is the under 1.5, just because at under 1.5, depending on the fight and who's fighting, there's wiggle room there. You know what I mean? Because if someone gets knocked out, granted they don't get knocked out again, the ref can stop it, the corner can stop it. It could be a TKO where it's on their feet and you can still hit.
Yeah.
So the only one that I lost was the David Allen fight. That free freaking that free. I was so bad, bro. But that was the only knockdown prop that I've lost so far. So
Yeah, because
that's what I've been doing.
I was live streaming during the Francisco Rodriguez Jr. fight versus Galal Yafai, and I got it wrong. I thought you took the over. Didn't you take the under knockdown prop and you hit because there was only one?
I did. Yep.
Yeah, because I thought you needed another knockdown, and I mean either way you're sweating it because Galal looked like he was out on his feet. The ref looked like he was going to stop it, and then he got dropped once.
Oh, I was sweating. I was sweating that fight because it looked like he was going down the second time. I'm like, oh, yep, that's it. But he stood up, man. He was tough.
Yeah. So one question they're asking? What's up, PJ? What's up, Boston? Everyone's doing their check-in. Sorry, guys, about the delay. We're having technical difficulties. We're going to keep the live going. Muscles feed might be a little delayed, but I think the audio's on point. And whenever you check in, could you tell us where you're coming from and like this video? Right now, I'm kind of picking Muscles' brain on my own selfish sort of reasoning. So I'll go first again, Muscles. I got a quick question about those. When you wanted to go heavy, and my heavy might be $5,000, PJ's heavy might be 1,000, your heavy might be 20 grand, right? What are your perimeters in terms of legs, or is it more about odds? Like if you find a knockdown prop at $1.80, you're like, all right, I'll do it. Or if it's like more than 2 legs, are you like, nah, I ain't messing with it?
Well, the thing with me, John, is when I bet those amounts, the 20,000s, the 30, 50,000, what I'll do is, for example, the knockdown prop, when Tevin Farmer fought Zepeda, I believe there was a lot of fights on that card, or just a lot of fights that weekend. I decided just to bet on the under 1.5 on Zepeda and Farmer, and that's it. And I loaded up and I bet 50 on that. But I didn't add it to no parlay. I bet on no other fight because I'm like, with that amount of money out, I didn't want to, I didn't want to add too many other legs to it. I just wanted to focus on that one prop, and that's it. And I felt very confident on that prop because the first fight had no knockdowns except for that one time when he drops Zepeda. So if I would have bet on that under 1.5 on that fight, I would have hit 2. So I said, okay, going into the rematch, there ain't gonna be no knockdowns, and there wasn't no knockdown. So I said, you know what, I'm gonna drop 50 on it, and I ended up winning that. But when it comes to betting, like for example, beginning of this month, I bet 20,000 on that 6 leg parlay on the top rank card.
Yeah.
And so what I do there is when I know that there's locks, for example, when you got Abdullah Mason, Troy Isley on the same card,
The
I'm
Isley
gonna load
fight
up
was
on
a
that.
bit dicey though.
Yeah, the Troy Isley fight, I was sweating a little bit on that fight too. I was. It was dicey. He was having issues with that reach, but he pulled through. But getting back to what I was saying, especially with Top Rank, I told you before, Johnny, that's my moneymaker, the Top Rank card, just because of the matchmaking. But I like to shorten my legs, but the only reason I took 6 in the beginning of this month was because those were 6 locks. Like there was no way, they were losing out those fights. But usually I like to do 2 or 3 bets, 2 or 3 legs, and that's it. And then load up anywhere from 20 to 50, sometimes 10,000. After I hit big though, when I hit that 13,000 in the beginning of this month, the next 2 or 3 weeks I like to go small because I'm already up so much for the month. There's no need to get greedy and overdo it because that's when you start to lose money.
Yeah.
So the next 2 or 3 weeks, like I bet small, 2 or 3 grand, so
So what
so that's
sort of
usually my method.
what sort of knockdown props are you like fights this week that you're looking at for some of the boys who might want to tell you? Any sort of fights that you're like, I like that one in terms of the over under knockdowns?
I really, really would love the knockdown prop on Tevin Farmer and Floyd, but there's no knockdown props on it. They got the props up, but they just didn't add the under 1.5 knockdown on it. So I'm kind of mad about that because I really wanted to load up on that.
You would
But
take the under. You would take the under 1.5.
on Tevin and Floyd, I would definitely, hundred
Okay.
percent. Yeah,
So
I'll take the under, or or you could even do either fight it to get knocked down.
okay.
But I
Let's
think
see.
I think the better bet will be the under 1.5. It's safer to me.
Okay, rather than yeah, because right. Do you think that fight's going the distance?
Tevin and Floyd, yeah, I do.
Okay.
I do.
Yeah. So there's a lot of these sort of fringe domestic matchups this weekend. There's a couple rematches this weekend. There's some old heavyweights. We see some dinosaurs are fighting. John Pascal's fighting. You're seeing these interesting matchups. And on the live stream this morning, I found a knockdown prop that like on the so Stephen Butler is fighting Macias, guys. And take what you will about the matchup. It's a rematch. All you have to do is go to their box recs and look at their resumes. Butler's 5 losses, stopped 5 times. In their first matchup, he got knocked out with one punch against Macias. Now, the money line, the guy who lost the first fight is the favorite. That's not the bet I like. The one I like, will the fight go the distance? Do you ever do these bets? Will the fight go the distance is $1.80 for the fight to not go the distance.
I'm very glad you brought that up, Johnny. So actually, this weekend, the only under 1.5 knockdown prop that I would take this weekend. I have a lot of people messaging me and asking me about the Zerto because Zerto has an under one. Stay away from that. Them cruiserweight boys can pop. They can pop. So that's very risky to take the under 1.5 on those cruiserweights. So I'm staying away from the under 1.5 on Zerto. But Jake Paul, I have a rule with Jake Paul. I never bet on him. But when I saw the under 1.5 at minus, I think it's like at minus 245 on my book. I use DraftKings, by the way. Someone in here asked me what book I use. I use DraftKings. So I'm getting the under 1.5 on Jake Paul, like minus two. I think it's like minus 230 or minus 245. I gotta check, but that's a bet that I might look into. That might be worth looking into. Um, but the rest of my bets this weekend, what I'm doing, I'm taking 3 fights to not go the distance. And Billy, Deontay Wilder, and Maktumov.
Okay, you think the Mokhtamov fight?
Yeah, because you got to think about it. Both of them are heavyweights. They're over what 6'5". They both
167,
can crack.
165.
Yeah. So I think the fight not to go the distance is gonna be the one on that one, just in case Maktumov gets dropped. Cause I think he's going through something with his brain or something, man. I think he got like a brain injury or something, Maktumov, because his balance is off a little bit. I don't know if you noticed that, Johnny.
No, that's interesting to talk about.
Yeah, so I'd rather take the fight not to go the distance because someone's getting knocked out that fight.
He's fighting a big puncher. I mean, both guys have a lot of knockouts.
Yeah,
So, Ricardo Brown, he's fighting the 6'7". I think he's Jamaican.
yeah,
So,
Ricardo Brown. Yep, Jamaican
what do you,
cat.
what do you, what do you think about the Macias Butler to not go the distance?
I absolutely love that.
A, do-
Yeah,
$1.80, 10,000 gets you 8,000 back.
yeah, and
That's
that
ins-
right there, that's right around my field too, Johnny. Like that's
that's
what.
insane, bro. That's insane to me because you know what I'm leaning on is like the last few weeks, starting in Australia, I think it was 6 weeks ago when
Yeah,
Sam Goodman hit. I hit because that happened. I hit like a 13 legger. I put it up. It was 22-1. We were all eating right, and because of that, though, I started making these longer parlays. And then the last few weeks, $1.06 would lose, $1.07 would lose. So in my adjustments now, and I have 4 screens working, watching the UK, waking up at 4 a.m. here. I'm thinking about going super heavy on that $1.80 fight, not go to the distance. You got one fight to make your money. I think I'm gonna do. I do have some side parlays, but I think I'm gonna do
Yeah.
that. I like the Butler fight not to go the distance. $1.80 to me is insane.
And think about it too. He's already been stopped by this dude back in
Yeah.
2021. I think in the fifth round was a TKO.
Yep.
So yeah, this fight I don't see this one going the distance.
It's in Canada.
Um,
You want to answer some of those questions?
yeah, someone asked me about what about the knockdown prop for Jake Paul? Yeah, Mitola. So I love that the under 1.5 on Jake Paul. I think it's paying what -2. Let me check real quick. Actually, now that I think about it,
1.8
it's
on
like
100.
-245.
I'm gonna answer Boston Mikey here. If you throw on that 180, you'll get $80 back, Mikey. So if you put $100 on the fight not to go to the distance, you get your money back plus 80. So that's why denominations either 100, 1,000, 10,000. Um, good question. You're welcome.
Yeah, I'm getting -215 on Jake Paul under 1.5 knockdown. I
Under
love
one and a,
that.
I brought this up on my live stream earlier in the week because a lot of the boys were asking me about the Jake Paul fight. My whole thing about it is the reason why I didn't cover it. I didn't do a breakdown. My whole like ethics around the sport of boxing. I don't really mess with Jake Paul's fights. I'm not even,
No,
and
me neither. I don't bet on him at all. I
it's
never
not even
did.
about the money because some of the boys are like, dude, it's guaranteed money. They're fixed. I go, I don't care. I'm not
Yeah.
just out of my own karmic responsibility. I'm not fucking with Jake Paul.
Yeah, yo, and to be honest, I told someone earlier today on Gary's on in the Discord or on his live earlier. I said, listen, this fight, Chavez might say, you know what, I'm not even gonna play the script. I might go in here and just knock this dude out. You know what I'm saying? So that's something you got to think about too, and look at the other side of it. People are saying Jake Paul pays people to lose, and that may be true. It may not be. We don't know. But at the end of the day, what about someone goes in there and it's like, yo, you know what? I'm not sticking to the script, Jake, and I'm going in and just knock your ass out. You know what I'm saying? Now you lose all your money because you bet the house on Jake because you think, the fight's rigged. You always
Yeah.
got to think about that. And that's why sometimes I'm like, that's why I stay away from betting on him.
Yeah, and I got to clarify because I know that we get maybe some of the guys on here didn't hear my last point on that. My reason is I'm not a hater on what him personally. I give a lot of props for what he's done for women's boxing. I give a lot of props, given a lot like Avius Griffin. Avius Griffin's a 17-0 guy. Not a lot of people know his name. He fights with Bomac. He fights out of that B&B boxing. Jake Paul signs him to a contract. He's on the MVP card. He's on the undercard. He's a fun prospect. You can check him out. So things like that, I got love for Jake Paul. But when you start comparing yourself, and I don't even want to get into it. You don't need me to give you examples about the disrespect he brings to the sport. It's like my dad was taking me to fight gyms as a 7-year-old. I'm friends with guys, lifelong coaches, fighters, dudes who got brain injuries, guys who can barely speak, all of it, guys who became world champions. The last thing
Yeah.
I want to do is, um, call me old fashioned, but that's my reasoning with the whole thing.
Yeah, and you don't play boxing, man. And like Jake makes a mockery. He plays boxing, bro. Like, and this is not a sport you want to do that,
Literally,
you know?
yeah, literally
You feel
not
me,
like
Johnny? Like that's what he does, bro.
yeah, literally not playing, not playing. Let's go play kickball. It's like I got these two prostitutes. I'm gonna play one of them for the other one. I'm gonna make this one give me 10%. That's what we mean. He's playing boxing, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm not about to give that bothers me. Bothers a lot of people.
Facts,
Griffin's
yeah.
fighting. Here you good. I see the bro. Shawnee in the house. King Ty in the house. Left Hook City. So Avius Griffin is fighting Julian Rodriguez. Julian Rodriguez, I mean, look at his resume. He's been in there with guys 6-1. This is kind of an opportunity. This is Avius Griffin's biggest opportunity. Last night he was at $1.19. He's dropped to $1.12. I don't know if a lot of that has to do with people realizing who he is, where he fights at, who his coach is. So I think it's a testament to Jake giving him an opportunity because the thing we know about boxing, think about Tevin Farmer, Muscles. The one thing about Tevin Farmer always goes into these fights is the B side, never has a
Yep.
big promoter behind him. And we know what happens, the corruption in boxing. If you're the B side, even, if you don't win by knockout, you're not going to get the call sometimes.
Yeah. And
So
now he's kind of going into the same territory again in this fight. With Golden
Golden
Boy,
Boy, Golden,
Oscar,
yep.
how's that going to play out in a close decision if it goes the distance? They're going to get robbed again.
Yeah.
So these are factors you all got to take into consideration when you're putting your money out there.
Okay, so I'm gonna put you on the spot here, Muscles. So of
Mm-hmm.
the I featured 5 fights this week so far in terms of like my playlist. the edited, non-interrupted videos where I can give you my prediction. Two of those fights happened: Liam Wilson, Liam Perro. What I'm going to ask you is one of those fights was Kid Austin and Tevin Farmer. I'm not going to ask you who's going to win, but I'm going to ask you where is the smart money in that matchup for the bettors to put their money towards? Because following my prediction, one of the things I do on one of my systems is in those videos I give you my prediction. So on a side bet, I'm taking Tevin to win. But you
Mhm.
as like a pro better, where is the money at? Is the money is it a money line either side? Is it the fight to go the distance, or is it a knockdown prop bet? Something like that.
So this one's tough for me on this one. I'm gonna be honest with you, John. Right. So for this one here, I would like to put my money in a few different ways. So I love the under 1.5, but I can't play that right now because they're not offering it to us right now. Maybe they'll probably offer it tomorrow because Jacqueline does that sometimes. Sometimes they'll even offer it the day of the fight. So I'm still waiting on that. But
Yep.
my money, I mean, the way that Kevin's been talking in these interviews and in the face-offs, him saying that he's gonna, is not gonna go 7, or he's gonna stop him within 7 rounds. I don't know, man. The conviction in his voice is like, man, I kind of believe him. The experience, the level of. I mean, he's too green, Floyd. So to me, the smart money would be to take Tevin on the money line, man. Especially at plus money, bro. I mean,
Yeah. Yeah.
I wouldn't go 20 on it. I wouldn't go 50 on it like I usually be doing. That's something I'd probably do a couple grand on. But I'm confident in Tevin winning. But then another side of me is like, damn, but if it's close and it goes to the cards, are they going to give it to him? Um, so the way I would play this is take the under 1.5 and take the over.
Under 1.5 and take the over. Yeah.
And take the
Okay.
over. I wouldn't even take it to go the distance. I would take the over in case it doesn't reach the distance.
Yeah. So in the breakdown, and I told people on my channel that is that when you look at the matchup, if you want to break it down with reason, with logical reasoning, you're looking at it from like a boxing sort of astute eye. I don't think anyone's going to stand on a hill and argue with you that Tevin's not the better boxer. Farmer's by far the better boxer, 34 years old, former world
Absolutely.
champion. Scofield at 22 years old, to me, I still don't think he knows who he is as a fighter. I think sometimes, I think he wastes a lot in his fights, switching stances, wasted movement, wasted energy. It's not like he switches stances and throws a lead hook because he has more power from that backside. He just does it to
Right.
kind of be flashy. And I'm not sold on him. I know he has a lot of hype. He's being marketed. We've seen that. Watch boxing long enough. You'll see, in my opinion, a lot of Floyd Scofield's how I think he is. I don't think he's who he thinks he is, and I don't think he beats Tevin Farmer. I don't see him outboxing him, you know, anywhere actually. And him he got. That's just my opinion. He's gonna have to prove it to me. He's gonna have to prove it to me. I don't see it
No, 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 Johnny. I agree 100%. The only thing I'm going to give Floyd over Tevin is he's the better athlete, meaning he's more athletic.
athletically.
He's athletically, but being athletic don't win you boxing matches, don't win you boxing fights,
It
right?
doesn't win you rounds.
It doesn't win you rounds, and I feel like Tevin is just going to be winning the rounds because he's just going to be landing the clearer shots. He's going to be very defensively responsible. He's going to frustrate Floyd in there. I don't think Floyd's going to find him, man. You got to
How does
understand,
Floyd?
Tevin got great feet.
Good feet, good skills, good
Good
counters. He's real.
skills, absolutely. And
He's
he's got
real
a chin
crafty,
on him.
real crafty in the pocket. Got a chin on him. I think he pops better than people thinks he does because of his knockout to win ratio. That was at 130. At 135, man, he looks good at 35. His body, he fills out nicely. He has a high ring
Mhm.
IQ. Um, okay, here's a question: Does Scofield beat Zepeda?
Absolutely not.
That's
Absolutely
what I'm
not.
saying.
That's
That,
come
that
on. Too much volume there for him. That's gonna be too much volume for him.
I think Zepeda would stop Scofield.
I second that. I second that.
Odds are jacked.
Floyd can
Bookies go.
box and stay in the pocket. I want to say he can box. I mean, stay in the pocket, absolutely. But I mean, Floyd's not a good
Floyd can
boxer,
box
though,
and
man.
stay in the
Floyd
box.
don't have IQ like that.
My issue with Schofield as well is a lot of his punches are at the same speed. A lot of things look alike, and in terms of like having an offensive arsenal, I don't want to call that. It's something I talked about on the live stream with Liam Wilson. Liam Wilson's problem, everything was the same speed. His left hook, everybody knew what he wanted to throw. He never changes speeds. He never hides it or disguises it. Schofield wants to get on that front foot, wants to pressure, and a lot of his work looks rushed as well. And
Yeah, I
I
was
don't
just
see
gonna
that.
say that.
I don't see that style beating Tevin Farmer.
Landslide said I got Scofield by KO. He's gonna catch Tevin. The problem with that landslide is he's got to find him if he's gonna knock him out. He's got to find him first.
All right, landslide.
He's got to
Tevin
find
got
him
stopped.
first.
Landslide. Tevin got stopped in his very first fight, and then his 12th fight against Jose Pedraza. After that, he has 6 losses. 3 of them are to 2 to Zepeda, 1 to Murataya. Neither one of those guys stopped him. He lost to
Which
Jojo
is
Diaz.
debatable. The Martai fight was
Yeah,
debatable. I
they were
had
all
him winning
close.
actually that
They
fight.
were all close. I don't put Scofield up there with him.
And let's not forget, Scofield just got dropped by Renee.
Yeah,
Tevin
Giron.
will box circles around.
Exactly.
Oh man.
Rando's in the house. Here's another thing about Tevin. The one thing I am gonna, I think we're gonna see right off jump in the first round, unless Tevin aged overnight, and sometimes this can happen with fighters 34, 35. Unless he wakes up and we see a version that had faded from the Zepeda fights, I don't think he
Yeah,
loses. I don't think he loses.
me neither.
Floyd's hands are busy. Tough fight to call. So yeah, if you had to call it not a winner, you like the over or you like the fight to go the distance.
By any means, I am not saying this is going to be an easy fight. It's not
Yeah,
a clear win for Tevin or a clear win for Floyd. What
agree.
I'm just saying, as a professional bettor, where I'm putting my money, where I'm wagering is, I'm taking the fight to either go over. What do they got? Is it 12 round or is it 10 round? I think it's a 10 rounder, right?
Yep.
So, yeah. So the books got it set at over 8.5. So take the over 8.5 or take the under 1.5 knockdown prop. Those are your two safe bets. You're gonna get paid on those two.
Under 1.5 knockdowns. You hear it, guys. Muscle Brown's giving you the insider options. Let's read some of the chat. What's up, chat? Everyone checking in. Make sure you like this video. Guys, if you haven't subscribed, make sure you do that and let's get going. You see anything you want to address here in this chat?
Yeah,
Randall
I like Randall Light. Farmer's durable as fuck. He not getting KO'd. It's a good point.
outworking Farmer. Vasquez taking over. Jojo Diaz so mid.
Renee's a
Prediction.
dog. There's no quitting him. Yeah, absolutely. And he dropped Floyd.
Yeah, it dropped him late. Renee dropped him. I
Yeah.
think that was in the 11th. And who did Floyd fight before Renee? He got buzzed, and some people were outraged that didn't get called a
Yeah.
knockdown. It wasn't called a knockdown, but he got buzzed. So I
Don't
mean,
be surprised if if Tevin ends up dropping Floyd.
I wouldn't be surprised. You know what I'm kind of seeing? I'm kind of seeing this matchup akin to when Lamont fought Tank, and a lot of people were thinking that Tank was going to do a certain thing, and Lamont fought him a whole different
A
way,
whole different way. Yeah.
and we and
Yeah.
we
Good
and,
point, Johnny.
we saw it was a draw, but we started seeing some of the flaws in Tank's sort of skill set. Are you betting on Holly Holm, guys? Daniel Vega. Let me take that one, muscles, guys. Because I've been doing a lot of UFC MMA features lately because it's kind of my wheelhouse too. Holly Holm was a boxing Hall of Famer before she fought in the UFC. The reason why I reference that, a lot of people don't know that she came to the UFC already in the Boxing Hall of Fame. Fact check me on that. She then, New Mexico, she's been at Jackson Wink her entire career, MMA. We know she was a world champion. I was at the fight in Melbourne, Australia, UFC 193, when she head kicked Ronda Rousey. I was at that fight, 7th row.
I remember that
My,
fight.
my,
Yeah.
my, I think that was my point is Holly Holm is 42, 43 years old. My age, we're the same age. She's a huge favorite against an undefeated Mexican fighter. I'm not betting on that fight. I'm not betting on that fight. If anything, I would sprinkle something on the underdog.
Yeah.
All
I
right,
wouldn't touch
Johnny,
that one
ask
either.
Muscles. What about Pascal? John Pascal.
I'm not touching that one.
Is
I'm
John
not gonna
Pascal
give
on
my
the
input on
juice?
that fight.
Is John Pascal on the juice? Guys, John Pascal fought Brian Norman Sr. in 2007. John Pascal fought B Hop in 2008. If you want to roll the dice, if anything, on that John Pascal fight, I mean, I would go the other way.
I was just gonna say that, Johnny, man. I would. Man, that's a tough one though.
So
I
he's
mean, boy got 7 losses, man. But look who he's fought against though, man. He got Dimitri Bivol on there,
yeah,
Bernard Hopkins,
yep.
draw, won for the first fight, then ended up losing the second fight.
Look at that,
Carl
Brian.
Froch. I mean, I don't know, man.
He's been in the game for a long time.
Yeah, got a lot of mileage though too.
Ain't that the truth? Are you getting a knockdown prop at all for that?
Great question. Let me see.
I'm on the hunt right now. That's what I'm looking at.
I am getting. Nah, I just got the money line. That's it.
Do you think that fight goes the distance?
Ah,
XL,
man. I
I'll do
mean,
one. XL,
my
I'll do one for you.
listen. Cslack has 21 knockouts, man, out of 29 fights. He can pop. And then Pascal. I mean, 21 knockouts. Been stopped twice. Maybe the over.
The over.
Yeah, I think I like the over on that. I don't have a line on the over, but once they drop a line on that, that's something I might want to take a look at.
XL, Johnny, can you link me up with TJ? Yep, I appreciate the tip. Guys, whenever you guys tip me, that's off the hook. I appreciate you. Yeah, XL.
Excel,
So,
my man.
is that your boy?
Yeah, Excel. Yep, it's my
Okay,
guy.
so
Good dude.
I'll hook XL up with TJ. The infamous Kevin Mack. What's up? Sislak is 165 for stoppage. Kevin, do you like the stoppage or the decision on Sislak? Yeah, the longer you're in the game, the longer you bet money. I'm sure you could find value in any fight, but I kind of tend to stay away from the old heads. Just betting in general, I kind of stay away from them old timers. But no, I'm an old head, but I'm not a pro boxer.
Yeah, that's why I haven't even looked at that Pascal fight. But I mean, he's at plus 400.
I don't think he beats Sislak, but I'm not
Me
betting on it.
neither.
Yeah, I don't think he beats Sislak. I don't think Pascal has legs either. And like, is who did you say that you thought he had a brain? That wasn't Pascal, was it?
No, that was Makmov.
See, there's a lot of these weird matchups this weekend, guys. Boston Mikey XL is that TJ chill down. The hand history about muscles about Guerrero Sandy. I looked at this fight history vault muscles. If you want to take that, help yourself. But I was just studying the Christopher Guerrero versus the Sandy fight, and what's up with these French boxers with no knockouts? You know, it reminds when you look at Sandy's record, he has 8 losses. Of his wins of all the fights he's had, I think he has 1 knockout victory. And then think about when Bruno Saras came to Mexico and knocked out Munguia. He only had 4 stoppages. It's something about the way they go about their work in the ring. So
Yeah,
I definitely don't
I
think
mean,
I don't think he beats Guerrero.
no. So on this, let me see what they're paying on this fight.
Guys like
I'm
Shakur
getting.
get fed over and over. Guerrero should win that fight. Muscles. So David goes, I hate that guys like Messias, Sulecki, and Tevin Farmer get tough fights consistently. Guys like Shakur. I mean, it's not a bad comparison, David. It's not a bad point when you bring that up. But David, when you say get tough fights, think about the fighters you didn't name who get tough fights and in that moment win. You know what I'm saying? That's also, think about when Brian Norman Jr. fought who did when Alex Rocha, who Brian Norman Jr. knock out in the 11th before the Cuevas fight?
Santillan?
Yeah. So
Giovanni?
Gio was the favorite in that fight, and that's right. And then Gio going in the Rocha fight was the underdog. Rocha,
Yeah.
Gio was it. Gio beats Rocha as the dog. Norman Jr. goes into the Gio fight as the underdog. On paper, that's a tough fight, right? Norman
Yep.
Jr. wins that fight. So sometimes, you have to have tough fights, and sometimes the guys who the cream rises, they win those fights. But I think it's a great point, David.
Yeah, I think Guerrero should win that fight easy. I
Christopher
do.
Guerrero beats Sandy, guys.
I mean,
I don't see Sandy's path to victory.
me neither. He's paying minus 2,500,
It's an insane, yeah.
minus
Unfortunately, Tevin is
190 for the decision too. Him to win
yeah.
by decision.
Tevin is a litmus test, but Tevin's a hell of a litmus test. And but gatekeeper, world champion. What I've seen from Tevin the last 3 fights, I'm not ready to call him a gatekeeper. I'm not. I think
Me
that dude.
neither. Me
I
neither.
I think that dude. I think that dude has another run. I do.
Yeah.
I think he's going to surprise people. I'm expecting him to put on a masterclass against. I think Scofield Styles built for it. He's going to be on that front foot. He's going to be getting countered. I think Tevin's going to piece him up.
If he beats him, man, his name is that's it. That gatekeeper title, throw that out the window.
Yeah.
If he beats him, and especially beats him in spectacular fashion, I'm
Yep.
telling you, his
Norman
name's
will
gonna be
feel.
buzzing.
Yeah. Blue collars in the house. People forget about that. I've been high on Brian Norman Jr. for 2 years when he was. He's just now getting his pub. That's my biggest hit as of late. When he went to Japan, Norman Jr. by stoppage, the fight to go under 5.5, and Sasaki to get dropped. I hit big on that one.
Yeah, you hit real big on that. You called that shit nice too,
I
Johnny.
got lucky. We
You
got
called
lucky.
that shit
We
nice,
got
boy.
lucky. I
Yo,
don't think the Tevin fight is as bad as you guys think. Schofield is a pet. Schofield, yeah. I mean, Chris
he
Schofield,
does. He does have a path to
yeah.
victory.
Schofield,
We're not shitting
Schofield.
on him.
No one's shitting. Schofield fans love his energy, love his youthness, love his explosivity, love his athleticism. We see time and time again, though, a lot of those attributes. If you're not falling in love with the technique of the sport and you're fighting a high operator who's technical, all of those attributes that on paper look good can be used against you. And I think Tevin's going to make him pay for that.
Yeah.
That's my logical reasoning. And I'm not hating on Auntie Sco, but I just think his son right now, I think it's a bit too much too soon for Auntie Sco.
Yeah, the experience is just gonna show. It's gonna be a deciding factor. This fight, that experience, man.
Good power. He's a dog. I mean, sell me, Kevin. Sell me on Kid Austin then. On his resume, what he's done so far. If you're, all that stuff, I just don't see it.
But one just
25K.
being athletic. How many times athletic fighters have lost
I
and
know.
got boxed the shit out? You know what I mean? Like
This
being
isn't
athletic
CrossFit.
is good, but
Yeah, it's
it
not.
don't equate to you winning the fight.
If Farmer wins, he's getting Shakur next. Kevin, great
Yeah,
fight.
I can see that. I could definitely see that Tevin and Shakur if he wins. Auntie Sco, yo, that shit and all. Yo, listen, man. He reminds me of one of my aunts, man. When I
you,
be at
you,
my cookouts,
he blocked me on all socials.
No.
Yeah,
Oh, yo, he's petty, bro.
because because of Greg Hackett. So like
Oh, cause of
six,
G Hackett.
6 months ago, Greg Hackett was going after him hard. And so I took a Greg Hackett segment and made a video on my Instagram and talked over it. And
Yeah,
Hackett shared it. And then Auntie
and he
Sco
seen it.
saw it. Yeah.
he got he,
He blocked me
he
on
still got you
everything.
blocked.
He
He still
blocked me
got you
on
blocked.
all. Yeah, I can't everything. Blocked me on everything. Salute mental. Don't ignore my comment. My man's coming out here with demands. We won't,
Oh,
bro.
what?
Go
What do you ask?
please. I post the bets all the time. We're not posting them in the lives though. You have to go to my post section.
Yeah,
Whereas Kevin, resume subpar. Tevin doesn't have enough. Keep Kid off him, but Kid will get the decision. He's the A side. That's a common narrative, Kevin. I mean, it's tough to argue that Tevin could lose the short end of a close decision. Are you limited on
yeah.
any books?
I don't know about that though, Johnny. About that comment right there, because when he fought Zepeda was on him. He was able to get
Uh,
off of Zepeda.
that's what I'm saying. I
And
don't
there's
agree with
no
that.
way that no way, man.
I
No
don't
way.
agree that they're saying that
No.
Schofield's going to pressure him and he can't keep him off him. But there's no way that Schofield does what Zepeda does best.
He went 24 rounds with Zepeda.
Exactly.
You're not
Exactly.
gonna tell me that Floyd Scofield's a more of a pressure fighter than Zepeda.
Here's my issue, and I brought it up on my breakdown video of Farmer. Is that sometimes later in fights, I don't like his body language, and it's not that he's hurt, but he clinches a lot and he holds a lot. He got deducted a point a couple fights ago, and I think sometimes the optic at the end of certain rounds it doesn't look too good for the judges. Even that Zepeda fight, he wasn't hurt, but he kind of sometimes will look like he's out on his feet, which he isn't. But you know what?
Yeah.
And he looks kind of loose. He sometimes has bad body language to me. I don't
I
know what
think he
that's
hurt
about.
his hand late in the 11th in that
Did
second
he?
fight. Yeah. And let me answer this the
Yeah.
hand history ball. He asked me if I got limited from any books.
Yeah.
So I haven't got limited from any books, but I got limited from a casino. What not limited, I got banned. From one of my local casinos here. I was going in there betting too much every weekend, and they sent me a cease and desist letter in the mail saying that I'm banned from going to the casino. I can no longer be at the premises. Even if I'm not betting, I can't even go hang out at the bar. They don't want me there at all. So I got banned from there. Yeah, local DraftKings here in my town, so I can't go there anymore. But
That's
I got 3 other
insane.
casinos that I go to. Plus, I use the app, and then I got some backups and stuff like that. So,
So
but
is
yeah,
draft
not
is
yet.
DraftKings a bar? Is DraftKings like a chain of
Well, no,
bars?
well, it's a no, no. So we have a casino over here where I live at in New Hampshire, and the casino is called Philatimo Casino. They just changed over names though, but at the time it was called Philatimo Casino, and they have a DraftKings inside there.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay. Cutting off the ring versus so-called runners. What's your pick? Supreme Nisu, what's my pick? Are you saying, do you want me to debate the difference or highlight the difference between cutting off the ring versus so-called runners? What's your pick? Am I missing something with the context there?
yeah. So what's he saying that Tevin Farmer is a runner, and that
Are you,
Floyd is gonna be able to cut the ring off on him?
what y'all think
I
about
don't know where
Zerk?
he's going with that question.
I'll see you on Floyd. In my opinion, every fight he's had, he's either won by knockout or landslide. What do you think about? We talked about Zerto, right?
Yeah, we did. Yeah, I think. Oh yeah, I think Zordo wins that fight easy. I think Verdo might even stop him too.
You think he might stop him?
Yeah, I like the fight not to go the distance on that one.
Okay.
One Supreme. I wouldn't say Tevin's a runner. I mean, he was standing in the pocket with
Uh,
Zepeda both fights.
yeah, Tevin's definitely not a runner. Yeah,
Yeah, absolutely not.
he's a good counter boxer. He uses the whole ring. He has good feet, good
Yeah.
defense. He'll mix it up in the pocket. He's a good
Hmm.
pocket. He can catch and shoot. He does a lot of things really well. He's world, dude. He's high level, man. Tevin Farmer's world class. He's a former world champion.
People just look at his losses and think, oh,
It's
he's not.
insane, guys. It's
Bro,
insane.
he
Tevin
can
Farmer
box, man. He's up
is
there
a
with the
former
elites
world
boxing
champion.
wise.
I think.
Yeah,
I
talk
think.
that shit, Johnny. I'm
Yeah,
telling you, man.
it is insane. It is insane, especially where he comes from. His camp, a Philly kid. The kid could box, dude.
Yeah, he boxed his ass off.
Yeah, I watched when he came down here and beat Billy Dib. He was a big dude. So there's another thing. He was the B side against Billy Dib. Billy was the former world champion. Tevin came down here and put belt to ass.
Yeah, and let's
No,
not
no,
forget when him
no
and
one,
Tank
no
went
one
in
talks
and
about that
talks.
fight.
You know?
People forget about that fight. Tevin seems
Yeah,
like a high level, crafty veteran. He's Boston Mike. You're not wrong, but you have to say former world champion. That matters in terms of you don't become a world champion by fluke. You have to know how to operate. Defended the belt a couple times. I think he lost it to Diaz, right?
I think so. I believe it was Diaz.
Nothing wrong with using your legs. Exactly, it's boxing. Philly not cut like that. Are you crazy? Philly's historical with producing great
Yeah, Philly
fighters.
has some fighters, man.
Yeah.
Shit.
Dwayne Styles. Good night, brother. Appreciate the support, Dwayne. Wherever you're checking in, tuning in from, I appreciate you. Skull Styles boring. Just leave it at that. I mean, Skull. Yeah. I mean, I got to see more of him. Let's see what he does. I
Yeah,
think they're.
look what he said right there. Trey Duck, Johnny. Tank Duck. Talking about when him and Tevin were in negotiations of, trying to fight.
Oh yeah, yeah. Tank Duck. I forgot about
Come
that.
on, he saw something there. I'm telling you,
I
Tevin
feel like
is
it'll be a good
nice,
fight.
man.
Scofield clips him. Tony Arslanbeck, Ricardo Brown. Yeah, I Arslanbeck versus Ricardo Brown. 6'7", 6'5". A lot of knockouts. The safe bet, Tommy S, for me on that is the fight not to go the distance,
Absolutely.
or if you get a knockdown prop like Muscle said.
Mm-hmm.
He has no big wins. Every time he stepped up, he lost. How's he losing and how's he winning? Only GK. When you say he has no big wins, there's a lot of decisions in there. What do you put Sandor Martin up there as well? Because Martin's fought for a couple world titles each time. Some people thought he beat Puello. You know,
Mm-hmm.
wasn't it Teofimo Lopez? He fought really, really tight. So just because a guy doesn't get the nod doesn't mean that everything's discredited or that the narrative is every time they step up they lose, because there's certain guys that is the narrative. Every time they step up they lose. Liam Wilson, for instance, fought for 2 world titles, stepped up against Navarrete, lost. Oscar Valdez lost. Tevin's not that guy. Tevin's lost a lot of close decisions. Tank
That he
avoided
should have
Tevin
won.
for years. Tev beat Jojo Diaz. That's what but on, you know what I'm saying, it was another close one. Arslanbeck not to go the distance. Neil White.
Yeah.
What's up, Carlos Vargas in the house? Scofield could definitely win, mate.
And we've been saying that, right, Johnny? We've been saying that Schofield has a path to victory. They both do.
Yeah,
You know?
it's. I think it's good matchmaking, 100%. I mean, it could easily be a main event. When you look at the last couple
It should
weekends
be the
main
main
events,
event.
when you're looking at like who's the Italian kid who just main evented? It was the biggest. It was
Oh,
a
man.
Jahai Tucker and Truck should have been the main event there, but I guess old dude's dad. What I heard was the kid who main evented.
Melanecki.
Yeah, Vito's
Vito
dad has a
Melanecki.
lot of coin, and the
Mm-hmm.
dad, and even the small ring. Rumor is Vito's camp got that small ring because Melnicki was supposed to have a showcase knockout.
No shit, huh?
Yeah, because a small ring favors the big puncher,
Oh,
and
absolutely.
they were banking on the fact that he was going to go viral. I don't
It
like
did not play
younger
out that way though.
Carlos, younger and hungrier though. How do you measure that? How to say that Scofield is younger? Yes. To say he's hungrier than Tevin, I don't know. I went to the fight. Kevin
I know
was
Tevin looks pretty hungry to me.
he looks real hungry to me. I the odds are actually going the opposite way. Somebody asked about the odds with Tevin and Floyd. I thought they would get closer. They're actually going the opposite way. Vito,
Yeah, the
Tevin's
money's trying to come in.
yeah, so some of the boys were at that fight. So what I was saying is, I thought Jahai Tucker on paper could have been the main event at that top rank card with Truck. This Scofield versus Farmer fight could easily be a main event. Nathan Ibarra, Ilya versus Charles. I like Ilya on the money line. Over 2.5. It's tough to tell. I mean, they're both good submission fighters. We know about Topuria got them hands. Charles, isn't the most durable. He's been finished before. It's a fun fight. I like Ilya. I think that's a safer bet on the money line. What are people seeing from Floyd that I don't see? Taz, I feel you on that.
That's what I've been trying
Farmer,
to say.
he doesn't pat.
He's gonna struggle against boxes. I'm telling you right now, Floyd Scofield will be struggling against boxes. Hear me
Jitterbug,
out on that.
yeah, for sure. Jitterbug, I ain't mad at you. If you just tuned in, I brought that up. Jitterbug's talking about the Hawley versus Vega fight. I said that. I was like, Vega, I think Vega beats Hawley home, to be honest with you. Carlos Vega, Schofield Farmer will steal the show. I think so. That's
For
why that fight's on.
sure.
That's why that fight's on that card. Another thing Jake Paul does to add relevance to the card. The undercard has some good fights on it.
Yeah. I give Jake Paul that. He's good at doing that.
Yeah. I bought my tickets. Great fight. Yeah, I broke that fight down. I featured that fight on the channel. I was shocked that the odds were so close. We were right on that. Jai Tucker by decision. Kevin was that. Truck Simpson just posted a really heartfelt message on his social media. It's really hard not to like Truck Simpson. Laurent, did you see he posted about his mental health? Pretty
Oh,
deep
I
post.
didn't even see that. Did he do that?
Yeah. Muscle, you want to get in there with your. They're asking Muscles for his locks.
Yeah, so my favorite bets this weekend, Manny. So I got Wilder, not to go the distance. I got Billy not to go the distance. Mock them off not to go the distance. 3-leg parlay. I believe that's paying like minus 185. But if you throw in Ramirez in there, that brings it down to like minus 134. And by taking him just money line.
You're gonna bet on the Deontay Wilder fight.
On the fight not to go the distance. That
You,
fight's not going the distance.
well, my issue with Wilder is that sometimes he'll throw one punch around. And I know Herndon is a football player, and
Yeah.
this is a showcase fight. But for me, I'll never forget the Ortiz fight when we got the late knockout. But I remember I was sweating because he was throwing one or two punches around, and then I just can't bet on. He's another guy on my list. I don't bet on. I don't bet on Wilder.
This is a 12 rounder, right?
Dude,
If it's a 12, this ain't going 12.
no, it's
Johnny, I'm
not.
telling you right, Johnny,
Is
listen,
it?
brother.
Is it a 12 rounder? No, surely it's a 10 rounder.
Is
I'm
it 10?
I'm pulling
I
up
thought
right
it was
now. I'm pulling up right now.
because if it's 10, I might change.
It's a
I
10.
might
It's a
change
10.
something up.
It's a 10 rounder. But I'm not trying. I don't want
Ooh.
to make you second guess your picks. I'm just here, you
Well,
know,
no, I wasn't aware that it was 10. I thought it was 12.
because everybody, the one thing about my channel, I always say it's not an
Yeah,
echo
I'm gonna have to
chamber. We
change
have
that.
healthy debates. My thing with Deontay about the ethically why I don't bet on Jake Paul fights is an ethical reason. Why I don't bet on Deontay Wilder fights is a different reason. But we all have our own systems. Yeah, stick with your gut for sure. I'm not trying to make anybody change the
Yeah,
bets.
you're right. It is a 10.
But
Damn.
don't change your bets because he's a knockout artist. He should stop Herndon. But
Yeah.
I don't like what doesn't sit well with me is how he accused Breland of poisoning his water. He was with Breland his entire career. Olympic champion, heralded in American boxing, and on national TV when he loses his first fight, he says that his team went against him and put something in his water bottle. And then he
Yeah.
hires Malik. He just fires Malik. Like I don't like where his head's been. Obviously, it's nothing new. I'm not telling you guys anything you don't know, but that's why I don't bet on him. That's
But hear
why.
me out, John. The reason why I took the fight not to go the distance and didn't take Wilder to win by stoppage is because I don't trust Wilder's mental or his chin in case it goes the other way. He
It
gets dropped and he
it could
gets
go
knocked
the other
out.
way.
That's
It
what. That's why.
it could
And
go the
that's
other way.
why, being the smart better, you take the fight not to go the distance.
Nah, he fought Fury, was a lick, got exposed. Smart Water could get stopped. Yeah, it could go the other way. And we know about power stays the older we get. That's well documented. But in order for the power to stay, you got to have a base under you. And when Deontay was young, he could get away with not really having a strong base. A little bit older, we
Right.
know those legs. You know, when his legs were never his strength, they look even more wobbly. I don't like his. I've never liked. Nobody's ever liked his legs. Water can't get stopped. Yeah, it's an interesting fight. So you're
Not to go the distance, fellas.
not to
I'm
go.
telling you.
So the volume. So Wilder's lack of volume doesn't bother you either, though.
I don't think he's gonna this fight. I don't think that's gonna be an issue because he knows from his last few performances he has to go in there. He has to start throwing.
I'm gonna
He
tell you.
has
All
to.
right,
He has to,
all right, all right. I mean,
especially if he wants to get him out of there. Let alone win the fight. He's got to throw
okay. So what's he weighing in at? Against his last fight, he came in at 218 pounds.
218, right?
Yeah, he was 218 in that fight, and Herndon came in at two. Is it? Holy shit! So Herndon against Silva. No, Wilder's listed at 225 for this fight. When's the last time Herndon had a stoppage? 2023 stopped Daniel Gonzalez. Yeah, Herndon got stopped against Kiki Torres. And right
Mm.
out when Kiki was I think that was his sixth pro fight. He only needs one
The hand
shot.
history vault. I don't bet UFC the hand history vault. I
What was
only
the
do
question?
boxing, bro.
Well, that's my history vault. Ask it again. That's my wheelhouse. I've been betting on UFC since jump. Something
Oh,
that
I thought he asked me if I had any UFC picks. Yeah,
oh
that's
my
not my
bad.
expertise, man.
Something about
Yeah.
yeah. I don't cover the UFC anymore on my channel, but I watch every fight. I know the fighters. I used to interview all of them. I think the picks I got this week, Joshua Van. I think Van beats Royval. I really like that pick. I like Ilya Taporia as well, and a little bit of an upset. I like Jack Hermanson to beat RoboCop. But those are my picks. I posted those already up in our group. Those are 8-1 odds.
I'd be so scared betting on UFC with the amount of money that I'd be putting up, man.
Yeah, yeah. No, there's too much parity. There's too
Oh
much.
man.
Yeah, there's too much parity. I'm thinking to put 10K down on it. Wyatt Sanford, Joshua Edwards. See, these sort of obscure fights, mate. I was looking at those odds. Wyatt Sanford's $1. Why would you put? What's he gonna put on that fight?
Wait, man, are you gonna put 10,000 to
10K
win back
to
$200?
make 200. No,
I mean, I think it'll hit, but is it worth it to make $200?
that's a big risk to make $200. What's the return of that? That's literally like a less than 2%.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, don't do it. Don't do it,
That's
mate.
not a good yeah, that's not a good ROI there, bro. That's not a good
No,
return on investment,
Manny,
man,
you
at
got
all.
you got to Manny here for health. Create a healthy boundaries and borders. Don't ever bet X amount on odds like that, and create systems, but don't do that. That's not worth it.
Yeah, I don't care how certain the bet is or how much of a lock it is. I mean, you want to make some return on that money,
Yeah, because you're gonna
especially
look
on
at the
10
200,
grand.
but you're gonna look at the $200 in return and not even notice it. But I don't care how
Right.
stacked you are. If you lose that 10K, you're gonna be salty. Do you think Mabili gets a stoppage 1-6? I don't know. I
Um,
mean, Sulecki, fought a lot of his career at 160 pounds. Um, Hold up. Am I allowed to bring something up about Sulecki? Give me a second. I got it
well,
because
I mean,
I got another email. No, I got something that I didn't even tell
a
you about.
different one.
A different
Oh,
one. I got,
damn! Because I was gonna talk about the original one
no,
right now.
no. I get people. I get emails from. You have no idea how many emails I get about insider information from people all over the shop. I want to make sure I can bring this up about Sulecki. I think it's common knowledge though. Are you guys aware about a fight Sulecki had that got erased from BoxRec?
I heard about something like that.
So
I didn't know
dude,
how true it was though.
dude, I got it. They sent me the fight, so I got that fight.
Oh, they sent it to you?
Yeah, I got the link for it. I'm just trying to my laptop's uploading. So when it comes, but I'm starting to
Yeah.
think Billy stops in 1-6. I could see it happening, man. He's going to want to put on a show. Quebec City.
That's
We
very, very possible, man.
it's possible. It's possible for sure. What's the move on
But the
Zerto?
smart play on that, the smart play is and Billy by stoppage or the fight not to go the distance. Just in case he stops him in 7, 8, 9. You know what I'm saying? Just the smart money would be not to go the distance or and Billy by stoppage by KO TKO.
Not to go the distance is only a $1.19. So
Yeah.
Manny, rather than you could take that fight, Manny, a $1.19 and get more value back than the fight that you mentioned for the fight not to go the distance.
Exactly.
Guys, my buddy Julian Rodriguez is fighting on this card. Yeah, we talked about Julian though. I think that's a bad matchup for Julian Williams though.
Trade Duck. I like Zerto by knockout. I do. Selecki is coming off a great win too.
Yeah, dude, Julian's fighting Avius Griffin, man. Avius Griffin is a good fighter. He isn't well known because he hasn't been marketed or promoted. But Jake Paul just signed him. He fights out of B&B Boxing. Watch his tape. You know, he's kind of rough around the edges, but he has a good path to victory. Good skill. 17-0, I think. I gave you guys the bet. Khalil Ko got to stop it. Kevin McNamara, you were right.
Yo, you called that, Kevin, man. Good to call on your behalf, bro. Hats off to you.
Julian Rodriguez.
But Johnny, I'm gonna be honest with you, man. I don't. I mean, I don't see that going. It's a 12 rounder.
Which one?
And Billy and Selecki.
Yeah, I
That's
don't.
not going the distance,
No,
man.
I don't think that goes the distance.
Mm-mm.
Dean Nicholson, Devontae Williams.
Ooh, I like that.
I don't
Neil,
like.
look at that. Neil White.
What do you,
I like
Arzobek
that.
and Steven Butler for no distance, and Wyatt
I
Sanford and
like
Billy
that.
money line, 135 easy. I just don't. I would be going against my new rules for my own betting. Nothing over a dollar. Wyatt is $1. Why even add that fight, dude?
Yeah, keep Wyatt Sanford out of there.
Why even add
The
that
other
fight,
three are
guys?
golden. Just keep those other three, and that's it.
Yeah, just keep those three and remove the dollar one.
Yeah. I mean, what are your total odds if you remove the Wyatt Sanford?
Julian Rodriguez is from New Jersey. Yeah, Hoboken. Yeah, Julian Rodriguez is from Hoboken, New Jersey. Yeah, Julian is tough. Okay, yeah. Julian's 23-1, 14 knockouts, 5'9". It's gonna be a good fight. It's a 10-rounder. I think Griffin's gonna be I think Avius Griffin. I think Avius Griffin beats him. No, I do. I think people just
Yeah.
don't. I don't think people know who Avius Griffin is just because the name. Watch his tape. Yeah, not bad. 2,000 plus is insane, DJ. Because we've seen the last few weeks. There was a punk ass card. Those punk ass Long Beach, LA Fight Night cards, and a dude who was $1.02 lost ruined so many parlays. I stayed away from
Bro,
it.
he was a minus 2,500 favorite, I think. It was
Yeah,
last
yeah,
weekend, right?
yeah. Last
Yeah,
week,
I'm
yeah,
so happy I stayed away from that
yeah,
fight.
yep. I know a lot of people who put it. Why even sprinkle that?
I'm telling you, man, these lines, bro, these books get it wrong sometimes with these with these high favorites, man.
I put a little bet on Ricardo Brown upset. It could happen, man. Six. You want to mess with those heavyweights, though? I mean, he is what, a 2-1 right now. King Ty should do a fight on the King. You know what, King Ty? I got time. When is that fight going down?
I
Because I
think
was
that's
gonna.
tomorrow,
Is it tomorrow or
right?
is it Sunday? Same with Plant. I think what was Resendez against Plant? He wasn't that big. Was it like $1.09?
Something like that, yeah. Against Plant. I
Damn
think
it.
we were getting him at like plus what was it like? Oh, I forgot what line we had him at. Yeah, Plant was not. I can't believe Plant lost that fight. I made money on Plant though on the under 1.5 knockdown.
I can't believe he lost that fight too. That was insane.
No,
You
I
hear the
know.
rumor? Do you hear the rumors floating around about Resendez though?
Oh yeah, that he popped.
Yep.
Yeah, I
And
heard.
and
Yeah.
about and about Francisco Rodriguez Jr.
What about the dude that what's
The
his
dude
name fought?
the dude who beat Galal
The
five.
live fight.
Yeah.
Yeah, 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 yeah. I
Dude,
heard he popped too.
they're saying Galal Yafai's camp though knew Francisco Rodriguez popped in his last fight because he fought an 8-rounder in his last fight in Texas that he
Yeah.
won, but the commission canceled it and called it a no contest with no reasoning for it. And so the rumor is it was because he failed a drug test, and that Gafai's camp knew that he failed a drug test, but it wasn't made public, and they just didn't care.
Wow. So they
Yeah,
knew that going into this fight, he was probably gonna be on it too.
probably. I mean,
Wow.
when you look at that dude and both guys, when Resendez got on the scale against Plant, I know you. Resendez is never built that way. Resendez's physical frame looked different against Plant. Francisco Rodriguez Jr.'s output. Granted, he always fights like that, but he just looked.
And he's
I thought
old too.
32,
Actually,
but a
no,
lot.
no, no. I can't say he's old. 'Cause he's only
He's
32. He's the same
but
age as
but I
Galassi.
mean,
Yeah,
he
yeah.
got stopped. He got stopped in 2012 against Chocolatito. He's been a pro forever,
Yeah.
so he
That
does
was
have a
his
lot of
only
tread.
stoppage too.
He does have a lot of tread.
He
Yeah,
got
look into
mileage
that,
on him.
Neil. It's crazy. And so, guys, I got a little update for you guys on the live stream. Carlo Muscles a couple days ago. News broke that my boy Deadly Dana Colwell failed a drug test. He's not a Dana's the guy who fought Shushu Carrington. He's an Aussie Aboriginal boxer, and he lost to
Yeah.
Shushu and he lost to Chop Chop. What happened was the commission and boxing scene released the statement that Colwell popped dirty and that he's suspended for 18 months without even a comment from their camp. I talked to their coach, his coach at Henderland Boxing, and they're appealing it. But because they didn't get back to the commission by X amount of time, then they released this statement. So I like to side on the air of caution. You know, I know his camp. I don't see Coolwell doing anything intentionally to take exogenous steroids. So, you know, let
Damn,
that story,
Dana cool up, and I like Dana too,
yeah,
man.
let that story develop before you jump to conclusions. He landed over 1,000 punches, insane. Yeah, his output was crazy, guys.
Yeah, and he wasn't tired, man,
No, he wasn't tired, dude. It was
at
insane.
all.
What did Nate Diaz say? They're all on steroids. I remember Chilltown was on here in this live and called that upset. He took Rodriguez on points. Francis, maybe he knew. Maybe Chilltown knew something that we didn't know. Guys, wherever you are, like this video. We're approaching an hour. We're gonna keep it rolling as long as
Yeah.
you guys keep it popping. Yeah, he did win. Dude, dude, that fight. That's one of those beatdowns that changes kind of the trajectory of one's career. You know what I
It
mean?
does, bro. It does, man. It's like, where do you go from there, kind of thing, you know? I mean, it's
Yep.
tough.
Do you want to answer that, or do you answer
What do
that
y'all
one?
think about Puello versus Matias? I'm gonna be honest with you. I like Puello, man. I like Puello there.
Yeah. Are you getting odds right now?
Uh
Guys, somebody, if you guys have I'm going to answer a future question. I don't usually do it considering we're so close to fights, but I'm going to answer his play over Matias question. I want to know the odds. What the sports book currently has that. I just think Alberto Puello still is kind of undervalued in his boxing skill. Very slick southpaw. Uh, you know, he's a world champion for a reason. He showed me something against Gary Antoine Russell. I thought maybe Sandor Martin did enough to edge him, even though I picked Puello to win and I won money on that fight. I just think Subaru Matias, the way he fights, front foot, puncher, I think he's a bit too one-dimensional, and I don't see him beating Alberto Puello. I like Puello by decision. Yeah. That is insane if Matias is favored. That's insane. Jump on that fight right now. There's no way. Jump on that fight right now. Puello, man, he's a tough out. He's a really, really good boxer. Yeah, if I could, I would bet on that fight now, but I don't have the options. Matias gonna. It could happen. I mean, you know who looked really good was Liam Paro. Liam looked really good. If you guys watched that fight, I was streaming it. Liam fought Jonathan Navarro, Robert Garcia guy, and Liam was sharp. Liam was accurate. He fought really, really aggressive. And you know, before that fight, people were talking about even in the live stream. They were like, Liam wouldn't be able to beat any of the world champions at 40. I was like, I wouldn't say that so quick, man. Liam Paro's nice at 140.
So yeah, they got him at -105 and -115 right now.
That's insane. If I could, I would take
That's
I would take
crazy.
that bet right now. That's insane. So Pueyo's the underdog.
Crazy. Pueyo's
But
the underdog.
that's insane. Dude, I'd put money on it right now. We're not getting the opportunity.
Wow. I'm on that. I'm jumping on that, bro. I'm on it like a hornet.
Well, Matias has already fought. You know, he's had a couple fights since the Liam Paro loss. How likely is Billy to get the knockout tomorrow? I know some people really like him for that knockout.
Very high chance he gets that knockout. Very high.
Let's talk about that one. People have been asking about that one.
Yeah, that Matias and Puyo fight is definitely, I mean, looking like a pick'em.
That card
At
is
those
that the same
odds.
card? That's not the same card as Shakur, is it?
Uh
Because my chat knows I stay week to week. I have to be focused here, so I'm not quite sure what card that's on. I'm not
it
getting the
is
option on Merg.
July 12th. It's July 12th,
July
Johnny.
12th.
It is.
Okay.
Same
Same
card.
card. That
Yep.
card's insane.
With
That card's dude. Just
Edgar Berlanga,
oh,
Shiraz.
Berlanga and Shiraz. That card's
Yo,
insane.
July, we're getting rich in July, bro. We're getting
I
rich.
like it.
Oh my God,
I
bro.
like it. Let me answer the Mabili stoppage question, and then we got to get to. I want to continue the July 12th conversation.
Mm.
Okay, so will Sulecki get stopped? He's only been stopped once. That was a body shot against Diego Pacheco. Bubu Andrade couldn't stop him, and then a couple years back he fought Danny Jacobs, didn't get stopped. If that means anything, then again, Sulecki's 36, I think now, and there's rumors floating around that Sulecki might not be 100%. So I'm seeing a lot of questions about that under rounds. Lester Martinez, I'm high on Lester Martinez, man. That's a name nobody talks about. Lester Martinez is legit.
Nice.
Another B&B boxing guy who fights with Bo Mack. Dude, they got a lot of guys in that camp that people really don't talk about. I just like Berlanga. Nah, no. Edgar Berlanga is gonna dog walk Shiraz, guys.
I've been saying this,
100%, dude. Here, and I'll debate you if you want me to, and I'll give you my reasoning. And I'm not telling you he beat Shiraz because I like him or I'm Puerto Rican. I'm telling you why Edgar.
We know you're not Puerto Rican, Johnny.
You know what I'm saying though? You get my point.
No, facts.
Yeah, you get
Facts.
my point. People all of a sudden forget that Edgar Berlanga has good hand speed, great hand speed, a brutal pocket puncher, power. Dude, he comes from, he's fought his entire life. Watch Shiraz against Adames. Dude, you watch Shiraz against Adames. All right, he hurt his hand, whatever you want to call it. He's back on that stool after the 5th round, broken. You're not going to crack Berlanga, his psyche. And I think that alone, I don't see an English, a UK fighter coming. Where's that fight at? Is that a Dubai? Where's that? Or that's in New York, right?
Dubai, yeah. Oh, it's in New
Is
York?
I'm not. Where's that Ring Magazine fight card taking place? I think it's in America. Yeah, it's at the Queen's tennis courts, right? I think it's in the Queen's tennis courts. I don't see Shiraz. I just don't think he has it in him to come over. Yeah, it's in Queens. There's no way. Edgar Berlanga, I think Berlanga knocks him out. I think Berlanga stops him. I think Berlanga stops.
They thought I was crazy when I said
No
that.
way.
I'm telling you,
Dude,
bro. I think
people
Berlanga stops
forget
him
me.
too.
Dude, I've been watching boxing since I was born. The only reason I reference that, guys, the media is insane. Don't let them fool you.
You're gonna dog walk him, bro.
Check out the headlines when Berlanga was 16-0 with 16 knockouts. Check out what everyone was saying about him. 16-0 with 16 first round knockouts.
Come on.
And then all of a sudden, you step up levels of competition, you still win, you don't get the stoppages, and then the narrative is like, oh, he fights dumpster fires, he fights trash cans. Dude, Edgar Berlanga, he's a legit puncher. I mean, you don't have to like him, you don't have to like his personality, but the kid could box, and he's gonna.
Mm-hmm.
I'm definitely taking him to stop Shiraz. I don't think Shiraz is built like that. I felt like he lost at least by 3 rounds against Adames. He was lucky to get a draw. They did all he. There's a lot of defensive holes in his game. It's going up to 168. You can look at that however you want to look at it. In terms of what Berlanga does really well, hand speed, power punches in the pocket. I think there's going to be a lot of openings in that leaky Shiraz defense, and we'll see. What did I miss? Shakur. People have been asking, what do you think about Shakur versus Zepeda? Muscles.
Uh, I think Shakur is gonna win UD,
Yeah.
and she's gonna box him. Yeah, I don't think that. I told I was telling Gary the other day that fight's gonna look very much like Floyd and Maidana fight number 2,
Okay.
in my opinion. But
Okay.
yeah, I got Shakur winning that fight. I think that when I put my money on that fight, I'll be taking the over. I'm gonna look at the under 1.5, and I'm gonna take Shakur money line, and
This
then
is this
Shakur by decision.
this is gonna sound a bit controversial, but I'm rolling with the same reasoning I did with Richardson Hitchens to stop George. I'm not comparing George to Zepeda, and I'm not comparing Hitchens to Shakur. But my reasoning with Hitchens stopping George was the fact that I feel like Hitchens hadn't had his viral moment yet. I feel like he was a world champion for a reason. People slept on Hitchens' hand speed. They slept on his jab, and I called the stoppage. I won a lot of money on that. I think Shakur stops Zepeda. That's all I'm saying.
I hear
I
you.
I I think Shakur
If his
stops him.
hand is 100%,
Yeah,
I
but
can see that.
I think Shakur's timing is so nice. I think Shakur's
It
technique is
is.
so nice, and I think Zepeda is on that front foot. He comes in a bit reckless, a bit sloppy. It really hasn't been. Farmer dropped him. I think Shakur's timing. Look at the Shakur who fought Jamel Herring. I know that was at 130 pounds. Um, sh- yeah, I like Shakur to stop Zepeda. We'll see what happens.
I might take either fighter to be knocked down instead of the under 1.5 on that fight. You got me thinking there. You got me
Yeah,
thinking.
yeah, it's something to think about.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of fun fights to debate, and kudos to the matchmakers because there's a lot of matchups like this going on that on paper they look like 50-50, but when you look at stylistically matchups, the trajectory of each guy, we're also due for we've seen upsets lately. The Resendez one, but we've seen a couple of those upsets, but I'm expecting a viral stoppage in a big fight like Canelo versus Bud. That could be a viral stoppage one way or the other. I think boxing's due for one of those, like another, when EJ got stopped against Bud. Something I think Shakur versus Zepeda could live up to that sort of hype. I think Tevin Farmer versus Scofield. If Scofield goes out there and stops Farmer, that could, he could do that. Even though I'm taking Farmer, everything I just said, and Farmer could stop Scofield. But we'll see what happens. Shakur knockout for a while. Floyd versus Philip Ndu.
Oh,
Floyd versus
that's a good comparison right there. Floyd versus Philip Indu. I remember that one.
maybe saying,
Floyd
but he's
picked
not
his
stopping
ass
those
apart.
Zepeda. You can drop him, but stop him is different. Yeah, stopping him is different, Neil. But when you walk onto something, so it's not about power. It's not always about power, one shot
It's the
knockout power.
placement too.
It's
It's a
that
lot about the
timing,
placement, the
his
timing.
accuracy,
Yeah.
his timing, figuring things out. Um, and come on, these are young. He's a young world champion. You're telling me he doesn't want to prove a point? You're telling me he doesn't read every comment, hearing everything everybody says? I'm done with Brandon Figueroa, guys. Figueroa is on my list of guys I don't bet on. I don't bet.
I
I
feel
don't
you on
bet.
that, Johnny.
I don't fuck with Brandon Figueroa.
No, I
I
feel
don't
you. I
fuck with
feel
Jake
you.
Paul. I don't fuck with Deontay Wilder.
Yeah, I'm telling
I'm,
you.
I'm just letting you know.
Oh, and you know who else? Oh, green hair. He always colors his hair. Ah, you know who I'm talking about. What's his name? He always colors his hair.
Morrell
Gary
beats
hates him. Gary said he'll never bet.
Morrell beats Katayev. I've featured Aman Katayev on this show. I think he has both guys are gonna have about 10 to 12 pro fights. We last saw Katayev in Australia. He's promoted by Jim Kambosis. I just think he fades. He's a little bit leaky in his defense, and I think Morrell's gonna beat him late. I think he stops him late. Colbert, Chris Colbert, muscles. Let's go. The dude with the girl coach. Yeah, Chris Colbert. I think muscles is free. He's just froze. But yeah, everybody answered the question. the chat, the chat is on point. I can't remember his first name. I think they're talking about Chris Colbert. If Muscles' screen comes unfrozen, we'll see if he comes back. But guys, we're going on 70, a little bit over an hour. To answer your question, I'm going to put my locks on the post section. We got fights tomorrow. Stephen Colbert. Why was I going to say Stephen Colbert? Stephen Colbert, the political analyst. What time is it, Johnny? Christian Hernandez. It is 12:30 p.m. on Friday, my time. So wherever you're tuning into the world, I say what's up and welcome. We'll keep the chat going a little bit more. I put Colbert on the list. I never bet on Chris Colbert. Brandon Figueroa. I never bet on Brandon Figueroa again. And I told you my story about Figueroa. That goes back like 4 years. Yeah, that goes back 4 years when Figueroa fought in L.A. Huge favorite. No, my bad. That was his brother Omar Figueroa. Brandon just laid an egg 2 years ago. Yeah, my phone died. Muscle's phone died. He apologizes. Just charge it. We'll see if he pops back in. Yeah, Stephen Colbert, the news guy. But he's gonna jump on in a second. So to recap, if you guys are late to the game, I really like the $1.80 fight not to go the distance in the Stephen Butler fight. If you want to check your books right now, let me know where you're getting the fight to not to go the distance, Stephen Butler. Boss, I just joined live. Who do you think winning, Floyd or Farmer? What's up, pull up boy? I got Tevin, man. I got Tevin beating Floyd. Scofield, let's get this money. PJ, what's up? Figueroa was bad. Yeah. Yeah. Sheesh, fam. It's 10:30 Thursday. So it's 10:30 where you guys are. It's 12:30 Friday. I'm living in the future, guys. Susami gonna be easy money. Reito Susumi. Just saying Zepeda has almost no singular punch power. He heavily relies on his volume. Dog's bringing knowledge out here. Yep, Tevin has had the size and power advantage against Zepeda, but he won't have that versus Austin. I just, you think Scofield beats Zepeda? Dog? Hand history vault. I think Playo versus Matias is one of those fights you hedge on. People sleeping on Matias ever since he lost. Playo parlay win. Playo barely winning his fights. Yeah, but hand history vault. Look who Matias has beaten on his way back since he lost to Perro, and look who Playo's fighting. You know, Alberto Playo. They put him in there with Gary Antoine. They put him with GAR, and they put him with Sandor Martin. I think both guys beat. I think GAR beats Matias, and Sandor Martin outboxes Matias. I'm gonna drop one of the parlays tonight and then tomorrow. But guys, if you've been following the channel, we have that parlay still working from Wednesday night when we hit in Australia. Thanks for the Butler fight, not going the distance. Yeah, dude, the Butler fight, not to go the distance. You don't have to pick a winner. Like I said, for the sake of denominations, 10,000 on the Butler fight, not to go the distance, gets you 8,000 back. I think that the hypnosis hack is like in some secret menu. I think that hypnosis hack. Oh, I don't know, mate. Gold member. Yeah, gold member. To answer you, I once interviewed a sports hypnotist on my podcast, and this would have been in 2015, my first podcast. He's a British. His name's slipping my mind. He's a British hypnotist. He works with a lot of Vinny Shorman. He works with a lot of fighters. I think he does MMA or kickboxing analysis. Ever since that interview in 2015, I'm not against fighters seeking out sports psychologists and getting hypnotized, but whenever you start seeing a fighter going that route in terms of trying to change the trajectory of their career, it rarely ever works out. It rarely ever works out. You never really see a guy who's like, man, I started, 4-4. I started 5-3. Went to see a sports shrink. Went to see a hypnotist, and I've won 21 fights in a row, all by knockout. You don't really see that. So I think the lack of focus or the mental issue is an underlying thing that really I don't think anybody could fix. And my undergrad's in sports psych. I have a bachelor's degree in psychology. So I'm not knocking anybody who's brave enough to seek help. What I'm saying is from a gambler's perspective, what's the guru who's trained Diego Sanchez? Oh, that what's
My
up? You're
phone.
back. The boy
Yeah, I'm back.
Muscles
I'm
is
back.
back. Landslide saying the back and forth was dope. The guru. So you were Chris Colbert. You were on Chris Colbert.
Chris Colbert. Yeah, he fell off, man. I don't. What happened to Chris, man? Chris used to be nice, Jay.
Sometimes in life, I think it really. He was never the same after that Ryo. I mean, were you losing money before the Ryo knockout?
No, so I never lost money on him.
Yep.
I'm saying I'll never bet on him because of how, his career turned out.
Yeah, I know. He had a lot of hype. Give me a second.
I did make money on that Ryo fight though.
These iPhones aren't built like they used to be built. My phone's about to
They're
die
not,
too.
bro.
But, dude, the OG
Sometimes you
iPhone.
gotta be like, yo, should I just go over to Android, man? Damn.
Yeah.
Like,
The OG iPhone, man. My old iPhone battery used to last like 9 hours. Now,
Jay, remember the BlackBerry?
yeah,
The
the BlackBerry
Blackberries?
with the stylus. Those
Yeah.
things would last like 2 days, 3
Literally,
days.
bro.
Yeah.
I used to love them.
Yeah, Ryo broke his chin. Those iPhone updates will get you. Yeah, so we were talking about Diego Sanchez. Who was that? Josh. What was his name? Dude, that dude was insane. Joshua Fabia. To answer your question, they were talking about Diego Sanchez, and we were talking about lunatic coaches. What do you think about people saying Paul rigs his fights? Of course. I don't even think that is even controversial.
That's not even a question, though.
I don't even think that's controversial.
Come on, Ray Charles can see that shit.
Do y'all feel Ryo was ever legit? I think he's legit. I like Ryo Valenzuela, guys. He's only 26 years old. He's former world champion.
Nice.
I think Ryo. I wouldn't give up on Ryo if I were you. I mean, GAR dog walked him and beat him up pretty bad, but I think he's staying with Robert Garcia. We'll see. He's young. I'm taking Farmer by stoppage. Get it cut. Puello beats Matias. I agree. Realize that he will go outside the high. Yeah. And that slick southpaw movement. He's gonna be able to pick them apart. I like Ryo's equivalent to Barrios. Yeah, ain't that free money? All right, Manny, if I remember you 30 minutes in the chat, you were the one who was going to bet 10 grand to win 200. So, so free money betting on Jake. If it's free money, it's not about the money for me not betting on Jake. It's just that whenever you have sort of fuckery involved in any situation and there's money at risk that you work for, I ain't messing with it. That's it.
Thanks.
I agree, Gold member. I feel like Ryo's equivalent to Barrios. Jack Catterall will beat Harlem Eubank. If Jake didn't have that Fury loss, I would bet my house on Jake. Well, it's I don't not bet with him because he could win or lose. It's not about that. You bet 20K on it, then ride with it. You bet on the Jake Paul Mike Tyson fight. That's insane, dude. That thing it's crazy that you can even bet on it. I think people bet on WWF now, which is insane.
Check out Manny betting my type of numbers. Okay, Manny, I see you.
Look who he's betting, dude. He's a Jake
I know,
Paul.
but look, I'm just gonna say that. I was just gonna say that. Yeah.
Appreciate you, Cut. Hey, Manny, if you found your niche, keep riding with the Jake Paul niche.
Yo, I'm telling Manny, I caution you, be careful doing that amount on Jake Paul. Because one day that shit gonna bite you in the ass. I'm telling you.
I know.
I'm telling you.
Did you guys check? I've been on Canelo and WE for the first few fights. Did you guys see? Did you guys watch the fight week with? I saw Chavez Jr. shadow boxing, and he was trying to get loose, and I saw him with the shirt off. I gotta be honest with you. I was impressed he got in some decent shape for this fight, Chavez Jr.
Yeah, I didn't expect that. He looked in pretty decent shape.
Dude, a buddy of mine from Youngstown fought Chavez Jr. in 2008, I think, and he should have lost that fight. Billy Lyle. That was the best 2 weekends in a row. John Jones and Ruffy. Interesting. Cats are betting on WWE is insane. So what do we got here? We got fight starting tomorrow. I'm going to wrap it up because I got to eat some lunch. It's 12:30 my time on Friday. We've been here for 80 minutes. Muscles.
Yeah, it's past my bedtime, and I gotta get up early to hit the gym, man.
Yeah, Muscles, give us something. Give us something.
Yeah.
Give us something to exit with. Guys, listen.
As far as what, Johnny? Just where they can find me, or
no, hell no. We want a lock. We want a pick. We want you.
Of Of
We
course,
trying
I
to
got
eat.
you, baby. I got you.
We want to eat. We want to eat. Let's go. Give us
Facts,
something.
facts. All right, so and Billy stoppage or him to win by KO TKO. So and
Nice.
Billy not to go the distance, him to win either by KO or TKO disqualification. Wilder not to go the distance. I don't feel comfortable taking Wilder by stoppage in case he gets dropped by Ricardo. So I'd rather just take the fight not to go the distance. You can parlay those two right there. You can also take Scrappy on the money line at -600. And then you could take the Markdamar fight to also not go the distance. That's paying you total odds -134. And then Saturday, you can take Tevin Farmer money line, the over. Those are my two favorite bets on that. And you can take Jake Paul on the 1.5 at -215.
Okay, there you go, guys. He gave it to you. I'm going to put some bets up in the post section. If Muscles is kind enough to screenshot some of his, I'll put it up there. If not, you know where to find
I'll
him.
text it to you if you want. You could
Yeah,
do that. I got
yeah,
you.
text me. You guys know what I like. My lock of the week is that Butler fight. Butler fight not to go the distance, $1.80.
I
I'm
forgot
riding
to
and
add that. My
dying on
bad.
that
I
one.
forgot to add that.
I'm going heavy on Butler fight, not to go the distance, $1.80. Guys, stay tuned. I think I'm going to upload an Avius Griffin fight. He's fighting Julian Rodriguez. I might have time for that. Stay tuned to the channel. We're doing another live tomorrow. If you haven't already subbed, do it. And I appreciate you. Muscles, thank you, brother.
Anytime, my brother. Got you, man. We'll connect soon again. Let's get
Yes,
rich,
sir.
fellas.